This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
This is Sunbelt Commissioner Keith Gill, and I listen to the Funbelt Podcast.
This is the Funbelt Podcast, part of the Believe Network.
Hosts the Dusty Thibodeau of Warhawk Report, Jeremy Harper of Powell Razor, and Shane Metlin of the Daily News Record.
I think it's potentially a very good week for the Sunbelt.
But I'm just kind of going off on a random rant. It's just frustrating. It's Two Sunbelt Conference teams entered the NCAA tournament. One advances to the Super Regionals. It was so bad that Ole Miss didn't advance that Shane Metlin decided he was done.
And you when you say, you mean Southern Miss, right? Because I heard Ole Miss.
Did I say Ole Miss?
You said Ole Miss. Because we were talking about Ole Miss earlier.
Shane is the rebel of the group, and so it's only fitting. But yes, it is Southern Miss out of Hattiesburg that was unable to advance out of the Hattiesburg Regional. You know, they fell to Miami Monday night, 5-4. But really, the difference of that game, or of that series rather, Friday night, you can't take the loss against Columbia and still expect to compete in the regional, because when it comes to Championship Sunday, you then got to play 2 games just to try to break even and push it to that Monday game. That's a lot of baseball in a day.
Yeah, honestly, if anybody could have done that, it'd be a team that was hosting the regional. You have the home crowd, you got the home stadium, you're staying in your own bed. So yeah, shit in the bed against Columbia, that was pretty rough. But they came back. They won the games they needed to win. And then it was like, okay, we're setting up against Miami. You looked great against Miami that first game. But I know you watched that game, Tibbs. I watched that game. And Southern Miss had so many opportunities to put runs on the board. Just constantly having men on base with no out, and then not closing escrow on that moment. I want to say there were like 3 times. 3 innings at least, where Southern Miss had guys on base with either 1 or 0 outs and could not get them across. That was the ultimate failing, I thought, for Southern Miss.
Well, and even in Sunbelt Conference play, when we saw Southern Miss get swept at Marshall, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the same thing. Runners left in scoring position, left on base. It was just too much to overcome. I mean, obviously, you got to have that one more run than the other team to be able to win the game and advance. And that's really what it came down to. They just weren't able to get the timely hits, able to get the guys across home in order to have that one extra run.
Yeah, and it's just disappointing to see. It's not like the Sun Belt's the most disappointing conference. Of course, that would be the SEC. Yeah, 13 teams in. I think only 4 get in. That's pretty embarrassing for the SEC. They had plenty of stuff. We get 50% in. Chanticleers took care of their business. But you did want to see Southern Miss with that advantage, with that home field advantage, just close that out. And hats off to Miami. They figured it out. Didn't look good against Southern Miss that first game. Buttoned things up that second game. Found ways to get out. Hey, way to go, Miami, I guess. At least it wasn't some sort of SEC team, which is my secret enemy anyway. But yes.
Worst part of it is that if Southern Miss would have won, they would have gotten to host that super regional round because it was not Vandy advancing out of that Nashville regional.
Yeah, that weak conference schedule just didn't prepare Vandy for the moment, did it? I did enjoy that. Am I taking too much glee from the suffering of Vanderbilt, Tibbs?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't think there's too much glee you can take out of that. Just get as much as you can.
Coastal Carolina did take care of business.
They look like the real thing.
Making a run through their regional. Some great games as expected, though, against Eastern Carolina.
Wow.
How do we get the Pirates in the league? Because bringing that intensity, bringing that fan base that was there in Myrtle Beach, Jeremy, I want that for week in, week out competition.
That's funny because you mentioned that. And there was a lot of people kind of throwing that question out there. How do you get Eastern Carolina in the league? Or East Carolina, I'm sorry. I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah, the Pirates, great program. Always interesting football. Don't know much about their basketball program. Baseball program, just fire. Be great to have them on board. And, in today's college athletic landscape, Tibbs, you never know. You never know when the opportunity to get a program like that might happen. So, yeah, that would be great to see them in the league and really here's what I want to know, Tim. So somebody came out and said, you got to stop talking about the Sun Belt being a mid-major baseball program. It is a major baseball conference. I don't know if that's true, Tibbs. I don't know if we've gotten there. But hot dog, it seems like we're getting there. We're getting to that level.
I feel like we are, but we're not, right? Because if we were truly one of the big boys, we would have had the Troys in the mix. We would have had that extra team in the mix there in the postseason. But at the same time, I feel like the two teams we had, man, they're over the top. And ones that I legitimately could have seen either one of them advancing not only to the Supers, but to Omaha as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Troy did belong there. There's plenty of mediocre SEC teams that didn't belong there. But Troy did belong there. Troy actually played in a very tough conference. They deserved to have their shot. But that's for here for now. Congratulations to the Chanticleers. Tibbs, I know you have your fingers on the pulse of what happened more than I do. I've just kind of been seeing waves of it. What happened with Florida in the Chanticleer division there, the regional? There's something going on with Florida that they went apeshit about.
Yeah, they did not like that because East Carolina played a late game on Saturday, I believe it was. Okay. They bumped the start times up Sunday back an hour to give them an extra hour of rest.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the details of when Florida was notified that happened. Should he have been upset? Maybe a little bit if it was one of these, hey, we're already at the ballpark stretching, going through in and outs and everything else. Oh, and we have to delay it an hour, as opposed to, hey, did you get a text at 6 a.m. of you're going to be pushed an hour? That part I legit don't know, but his complete handling of it was he called it such a shit show, bullshit, and every other explicitive that you could say. But his actions spoke louder than words, and I couldn't help but think the irony of it. Florida is on the hunt for a new university president. The board of directors did not vote for the person that was up for the nomination of it.
University of Michigan guy. Yeah. Florida's in a weird position, the whole university, and we can get into the politics of that, but that might be for another show. But from what I understood, Tibbs, the coach really ripped into Coastal Carolina officials, right? They were mad at Coastal Carolina administrators for that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's about like yelling at the mailman because he brings you the bill, Jeremy. I mean,
I do that all the time.
technically he's the guy that hands you the bill and serves it to you, but he has nothing to do with it. The Coastal Carolina staff were just being the messenger from the NCAA of, hey, for TV, for fairness, competitive balance, whatever acronym you want to use, that's all that they were relaying is like, hey, this is our site. We're doing the maintenance on the fields. We're kind of handling the logistics, but the NCAA says,
yes,
it's going to be bumped.
So did the Florida coach, did he ever apologize? Did he issue an apology, say this isn't really representative of me or my program, and I apologize? Did that happen?
Yeah, he gave the generic, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to actually do that, and I have respect for you and your community. Insert school name here.
The Chat GPT apology.
Before it was Chat GPT, yeah, that's exactly what it was. I feel that the NCAA should have that in the back of their mind next time that Florida is maybe a questionable team to even get into the tournament. Do we really want these jackasses in the tournament?
Well, we do have to make some shout outs to some of the mid-major teams. Tulsa. I don't even like calling them mid-majors. I don't even know how to refer to them, but UTSA, not Tulsa, UTSA gets in. From what I understand, like this is the first time they were even in the NCAA tournament, and they come in and win a regional. I could be wrong about
over Texas.
Yeah, over Texas, which is always funny. You got Murray State winning 2, I believe, over Ole Miss, who was hosting.
That is
correct. I watched a
correct.
lot of that game. By the way, I tell you what, the approach that Murray State has at the plate is just outstanding. So many 2-strike hits. I mean, those guys, they don't care. They just aggressive every at bat, never back down. They did, I think, something to the effect of like somebody put out a graphic, like there was like 3 SEC teams that had something like, I don't know, at least 8 pitchers on the team that threw 92 miles per hour. Murray State has 0, and they still just out-pitched, outclassed, out-defensed, out-hit Ole Miss, who's the 2022 champion. These guys aren't slouches. Ole Miss has a history for winning. So what a great show by a program like Murray State or a program like UA Little Rock, who they come in, the 8th place team in the Ohio Valley Conference, come in and give LSU a scare. I tell you what, just great performances all around, which kind of shows you that baseball right now is probably one of the most pure college sporting events in college right now, sort of almost untouched by this SEC Big Ten kind of power grab that's going on. At least we have baseball, which I swear, Tibbs, once Arkansas State got out of the Sun Belt tournament, my interest in college baseball, 0.0%. And now my interest has peaked. It's just good fun to watch.
Somewhere Greg Sankey just heard that and said, hold my beer and watch this.
Yeah, you'll find a way. That's absolutely true. So what do we make of the Chants? Who they got next?
They are traveling to number 4 Auburn, who did have some struggles in their own regional. They did win it outright. Okay. No need for an extended gameplay. But the Chants got to come in. They got to take care of business. I'm not a big fan of the way the schedule lines up. They're going to play Friday night against Auburn on ESPN2 at 8 Central.
Ooh, okay.
Saturday, 2 p.m. Central on the Deuce again. And then TBD, everything across the board on Sunday if it is needed. Hopefully, we don't have that because the Chants get a Friday, Saturday win, and we can go ahead and start popping the corks, get ready to celebrate in Omaha.
You got to win 2, right?
You got to win 2. 2 of 3.
2 of 3. All right, we'll be looking out for that. Chants have the pitching. They've got the hitting. They've got a good team. They've got a really good chance to get through. But and I know we were hard on, or at least I was hard on Southern Miss. I don't think you were too hard. I was hard on Southern Miss. I really felt frustrated with the way that game panned out. I was frustrated the way they lost against Columbia, to shit the bed at the very beginning of the tournament. But congratulations for a great season. Congratulations for a nice run in the tournament. Hey, you didn't win the tournament, but you came down to the last inning. So congrats on a great season. Congrats to the Sun Belt.
I wish there was more football news to talk about, but I know right now it's really kind of OTAs as they can only describe them, where we have the fat guys in tiny shorts running 40-yard dashes for no reason at all. We have receivers running stadiums, quarterbacks doing stretches, and God knows what else. But we do have some news from Arkansas State in Jonesboro.
Yeah.
You have a new leader of the pack, Jeremy.
Chris Pesman out of Houston. Out of your neck of the woods, Tibbs. You're living in Houston right now. You probably
He's a
familiar.
Cougar. Yeah.
Yeah. Played in the 90s. I believe he was a team captain. The first Cougar, first alum to be named head man with the Cougars. I think it was like 2017 he did that. And he had like a good 7-year run. And, just long enough to make enemies, Tibbs. You stay in a position for more than 3 years, you begin to make enemies. You see yourself starting the hero, and you live long enough to become the villain. Harvey Dent never spoke wiser truth. And that's kind of what happened, I think, to Chris Pesman. He did a pretty good job. He kind of ushered Houston into the Big 12. He oversaw a basketball program that saw 5 Sweet 16s. The Houston football program had some trouble.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Yeah, you had Dana Holmgren. We had our old friend Applewhite. He was his first coach. They had to get rid of Applewhite, bring in Dana Holmgren. Had to fire him. Ended up hiring another Sun Belt guy, Willie Fritz. He was with Tulane. Before then, he was with Georgia Southern. And the big knock on him was that even though he had raised enough money for a new football facility and for a new basketball facility, the knock on Pesman is that he doesn't raise money. He's not a good fundraiser. And there was some legit gripes. Houston comes into the Big 12 with maybe the lowest amount of money on hand than anybody in the Big 12. Is that fair? I don't think that's fair. they just got into the Big 12. They're just now accepting and getting that Big 12 shine, right? I don't know. It's sort of a strange link up with Chris Pesman for going from Houston. He had flirted with the University of Washington for a while. Somehow ends up going to Arkansas State. He had replaced Hunter Yurachek, who ended up going to the University of Arkansas. I don't know if Chancellor Todd Shields has some sort of weird connection in that way. I don't know. I don't know how this name ended up at Arkansas State, but we're going to see. They're going to have the press conference tomorrow. We'll get some more answers. I would love to hear what the vision is. I would like to hear what Pesman has for the future of Arkansas State. And I know, Tibbs, you will be online watching the press conference personally.
Always. But, Jeremy, if you're Pretzman, what's your first order of business? What are you doing day one of your tenure at Arkansas State?
When Jeff Puritan arrived from Alabama a few years ago, right? The state of Arkansas State athletics was really bad. Yeah, the baseball team was grossly underfunded, underappreciated, under everything. The football program had just endured its second losing season, like 2-win season. The basketball program was a complete disaster. But there's other things too: volleyball, tennis, women's basketball. The only thing that seemed to be working was track. And Puritan did a really good job bringing it all back. He made some good hires. He promised more funding and delivered a little bit of more funding to the baseball team. Delivered more funding and maybe some NIL attention to basketball, which is how Arkansas State ended up finally competing there. So Pesman comes to Arkansas State not in like fire mode. like poor Puritan, he comes in and he's got to put out a lot of fires, right? Pesman doesn't. He actually he comes in and there are some needs. He's got to make sure that Mike Silva is happy as the baseball coach. He has to follow through on some of the promises that was made to Mike Silva, which is we're going to upgrade facilities at Arkansas State baseball. That's what he's got to do first and foremost. Second, he's got to find ways to raise more money for football, raise more money for basketball, keep those guys that are ahead of the program happy, because we're getting to a point at college sports where money is king. And if you don't have the money, you're not going to have the programs. You would know that, though, because you're a war hawk. You understand that better than anyone, Tibbs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's always good to have new blood in, kind of familiar blood as well of guys that we'll get to see in New Orleans, guys that I've at least lightly crossed paths with in the past. So always good to see that.
You've crossed paths with Chris Pesman?
There was a quick handshake a couple years back when ULM played.
All right. If he's there, I want you to shake his hand and act like he's an old friend. Put your hand on the shoulder. Chris, good to see you again. This guy.
I'll do that with my smiling Jeremy Harper t-shirt on.
By the way, media days coming up. Are you ready to go?
I'm booked. I got a really expensive hotel room. I got a flight.
Okay.
I got my credential request in. I got to break out the brick and make sure that it's ready to go so that we have good audio quality this year.
All right. That's always a challenge.
It is a challenge.
Yeah, I haven't done any of those things. I haven't set up my room. I haven't got my press credential. They sent out the notice. Hey, sign up for your press credential. It's like a Google Doc. I didn't have permission to get into it. Still waiting to get permission. I don't know what that's about. Maybe they don't want me to go. Tibbs, is there a chance they don't want me to go?
Always a chance.
Have I pissed off enough people? Have I pissed off enough people at Texas State to get me blackballed from Sunbelt Media Days? That would be great.
Is it only Texas State that hates you?
I think it's only Texas State. And quite frankly, I don't think they hate me. I mean, who would hate me?
Chris left, and Chris was a great guy, but he left. He went to Boise State.
He was a good guy. He and I just did not connect. Whatever. But no, I will be there. I look forward to it. We got to drag Shane out there. That would be awesome. Love to have Shane show up. Finally get a taste of that Sunbelt culture. He's missing it. And what we need to do is have another one of those dinners where we drag the old grizzled Sunbelt journalist group, go out to some hole-in-the-wall restaurant in Louisiana, eat a bunch of alligator tails, drink a lot of Miller Lite, tell a lot of tall tales, listen to Jay Walker, tell those stories like he likes to tell. Get Shane in that. Shane needs to be a part of that. He needs to lose that arrogant, East Coast attitude that he has, come down over to Louisiana and enjoy some time with us, Tibbs.
If we can get Shane in, are we going to Bourbon Street?
I mean, do we ever go to? I don't ever go.
I don't go to Bourbon Street, but if Shane shows up, you know what? We'll do a live. We'll do a quick live from Bourbon Street.
Okay, we should do that. We should do that because you know what? Wear your second best shoes because it gets a little dirty on Bourbon Street. But yeah, I'm there. I'm completely 100% up for that.
I'm going brave. I'm going flip flops down Bourbon Street.
Okay, just go barefoot, man. Raw dog it right down Bourbon Street.
Oh, it's that time of year, Jeremy. It's June. It's June content.
June content. By the way, I put out some June content.
Yeah, you don't like ULM's logo. Screw you.
Okay. Listen, first of all, I in the article I critique as a member of the advertising community, of which I am a member, using those credentials. I went ahead and critiqued all 14 sports logos. And I got like some shit. Like, for instance, the Southern Miss logo, I had the wrong logo. So sorry. Some people took umbrage with what I had to say about the Georgia Southern logo, which I think in their hearts they know I'm right. That's just not quite the right logo for them. It's not a bad logo. It's just not right for them. Georgia Southern has all that sort of history, right? They've got a lot of branding attributes going for them. The dark blue navy jerseys, the block numbers, the plain helmets. And then they have this sort of back to the future looking logo that just doesn't match. It belongs somewhere else. So anyway, stop being mad at me for that. I'm right. And then, yes, the ULM logo, which if you look at all the logos, Tibbs, if you put them up on a board, ULM sticks out a little bit. It looks a little bit more like a school logo, like an official like seal or crest logo. It doesn't quite have the sportiness that it needs to have. And my thing was, man, bring that P40 stuff in there. Make that the heavy attraction. We
don't need another identity crisis.
Take away all the others. Just strip them away. Just settle on that. But you like the ULM logo. You've always liked it because it harkens back to like the what do you call it? The Division II logo that you used to have. What was that?
1AA of Northeast.
Okay. Yeah, because it's a nod to that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And some people even said to me, "Hey, I like that logo because it is a nod to the old ULM, before they were even ULM." So what do I know about logos? Like I said in the article, one man's crappy logo is another man's Matisse. So
I did chuckle though when you talked about a bird should not be contorted that way.
It's a little disturbing. It's like watching a zombie movie, the way they twist their arms and legs, and it's kind of gross. So anyway, that's my June content. I am in June content mode. I will soon be in July content mode. Tibbs, I think you're starting kind of a new website, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about this. I want to know more.
It's still warhawkreport.com.
Yeah, okay.
Just a new platform.
Okay.
A great message board. Warhawk Insider still carried over. It's a exclusive message board that if you are not a paid subscriber, you do not even see the message board. So you, Joe Public, go there. You're like, man, this thing's dead. There's no one there. Nope. It's all right there. Just you can't see it.
You got plenty up the cheddar. Now, if I were to get on that message board, if I wanted to be on it, how much cheddar a month are we talking about?
It's only $8, Jeremy.
$8. What a deal. I mean, you can barely get a meal at McDonald's for $8.
I don't think you can anymore.
And we're talking here about a nutritious meal of Warhawk facts on Warhawk Report.
I have. I've already started digging into the season opponents, doing some previews.
Ooh, man, it's like you're a young man again. It's like you're reborn, Tibbs. You're like
it is
brand new. So let me ask you this: like I float around message boards for Arkansas State, because I'll put my content on there too, just to get things going. But what do people talk about on the Warhawks message boards? What is like the common discussion?
It's a lot of UL Most discussion.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of questions about why things are the way they are, and what if I was athletic director or president, here's what I would do. And it's sometimes off the wall things, and sometimes it's like, damn, that dude maybe should be AD or athletic director.
Well, okay. Yeah. Is it a lot of bitching?
That's what a message board translates to in English.
It's a lot of bitching. It's a lot of complaining. I think people just need that outlet, right? They need to surround themselves with a bunch of guys who will also complain, which it's kind of fun. And do you have like guys that's like maybe 4 or 5 guys that are regulars and they're almost just talking to themselves?
That's my burner accounts.
Well, congratulations on the newly reimagined Warhawk Report. Totally free of corporate shackles. You're free, Tibbs. You're free to do whatever you want. Congratulations.
And it's been great. Ooh. Not even a month in, over 10,000 hits on the site, Jeremy.
Ooh, you know what? That's SEC numbers.
Thanks for going there and just clicking refresh for me.
I've been doing that. It's like I got carpal tunnel.
On that note, we end our beginning of June episode with plugs, promos, and parting shots. Jeremy, what do you have for us?
I kind of have 2 because Shane's not here. So I've got a quick one. Tibbs, you know what this month is?
June?
Yeah. And that makes it Pride Month. I love Pride Month. And I was a little disheartened to be watching some baseball highlights and seeing that Wake Forest head coach Tom Walter got into a little altercation with University of Tennessee player and dropped a derogatory term for homosexual. And he made his apologies. He said the right things. He kind of did the ChatGPT apology about it. What was disheartening was kind of seeing some of the Twitter chats about it. Oh, it's just locker room talk, and it's fine, and you guys are hampering tradition. You guys, it's time to grow up. It's 2025. You can't blame or credit every unseemly part of yourself and attribute it to locker room talk. Because eventually you get out of the locker room, guys, and you enter the real world. And in the real world, it's populated by a lot of different people. And you've got to live with those people. The locker room can't be your incubator of hate and disdain and stupidity all of your life. It is time to grow up. So happy Pride. Try to be a little more tolerant, even in baseball locker rooms. That would be nice. But my second parting shot is, hey, remember UALR, Tibbs?
Go Trojans.
Yeah. They're part of the Sun Belt. Kind of a plucky program, right? A city school. Yeah, for the Sun Belt, they only played baseball and they played basketball. And for Arkansas State, that was a nice little rival. But when the Sun Belt decided to, kind of get rid of the schools, including UT Arlington, that only played those 2 sports, UALR ended up going to the Ohio Valley, which is fine. They do well in the Ohio Valley. Except this year they came in 8th. They came in tied for 8th, the baseball team, at the Ohio Valley, to get into the conference championship or conference postseason, the tournament. They had to do a play-in game with the other team that came in 8th, and they won. And then they somehow won the Ohio Valley conference tournament. And so they got to go to the NCAAs, which is really cool for UALR. They were kind of like tourists. Hey, we're going to go to the LSU regional. They're hosting. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great. Maybe we'll last a game or two. It'll be great. They ended up taking LSU to the bonus final game. At one point, leading LSU, number 6 in the nation, I believe. Ended up leading them 5-1 for a lot of the game. They fell apart at the end, but it was good, dynamic baseball. And it's a reminder to anybody listening that college sports isn't just for the SEC. College sports isn't just for the Big Ten. And if you listen to the Big Ten, and if you listen to the SEC, they will tell you that the only programs of value are the programs that they control. I have another message for you. We can either allow the SEC and the Big Ten to give us these pre-scripted storylines, or we can enjoy the millions of storylines that programs like UALR, like Murray State, like UTSA, they're the ones that bring the stories to the table. And that's what college athletics is all about. It's about competition. It's about overcoming odds. It's not about money. Somehow you may get this idea that it's about money because that's all the SEC and Big Ten see. That's the only thing they see. They only say, hey, why are we funding the rest of these guys? We deserve the money. We want all the money. College baseball shows you that college sports isn't about money. It never was supposed to be about money. It was supposed to be about the triumph of competition. So congratulations, UALR, for showing us what it's supposed to be like. Thank you.
It's morning time now.
I had to. I had to lift for Shane. Come on.
I give a quick shout out.
Okay.
Former Louisiana Lafayette Associate AD.
Okay.
Deputy AD. Nico. God, I hope I say his last name right. Yenko.
Okay.
Current athletic director for the Murray State Racers. Good
Racers.
to see him getting in the mix when his athletic department was able to capture a regional. And they are headed into the Super. So big congrats to him. Yeah. Great guy, good friend of the show.
Sunbelt alum.
Couldn't be happier for him. Couldn't be happy for the Racers as well.
Yeah.
One of us.
Sure.